Good day, friends. My name is Raka, and today I would like to present about adaptation study. So, in this presentation, I will talk about introduction to adaptation, modes of adaptation, who is adapter, why are there literary adaptation, ecranization, and the example of ecranization. First, introduction to adaptation. So, what is adaptation? Adaptation is the process of repurposing or retelling familiar stories. Adaptation have varying levels of proximity from their original source materials. Adaptation can be a byproduct of changing the form for which a story is perceived. It can also take forms, themes, structures, or plot lines of stories that have come before it. An adaptation is an entirely new creative work that pulls ideas from or is inspired by another work's plot, characters, or themes. Adaptation can be found in many forms and different medias, met with a variety of intention towards the original, but fall under the same general idea. An adaptation is the reinterpretation of a story through a lens relevant to other times period. An adaptation is essentially a remake or reference of some works such as book, movie, or play. Adaptations are typically a hit or miss depending on numerous factors, the main one being whether or not the adaptations convey enough of the original works. This is often open to interpretation as sometimes a more modern take a historical work can vary from the original but still be extremely well received by the public. Okay, after we learn about what is adaptation, I will talk about the modes of adaptation. There are three modes of adaptation. The first one is the telling into showing. For telling into showing modes, the literary works from written text is adapted into the show or in the films. For the example is Maze Runner or Alice Through the Looking Glass. The second one is showing into showing. In this mode, the literary works which is shown, such as film, is adapted into the theatrical shows. And on the other hand, and the last one is interacting into telling or showing. For this mode, the literary works is being adapted from games to films or comics. Next, we will talk about adapter. Who is adapter? The adapter of a book or play is the person who rewrites it for a films or a television program. The adapter or adapter is a person who adapts from original content and transfers that into a new forms with a new interpretation. So to make it easier, I will give you an example for adapter. So as we know, Harry Potter is from a novel created by J.K. Rowling, right? And they create an adaptation from Harry Potter novel into Harry Potter films. But the creator of the Harry Potter films is not J.K. Rowling anymore. It's Steve Kloves. Hence, Steve Kloves is the adapter that adapting Harry Potter novel into Harry Potter films. Next, I will talk about why are there literally adaptation. It allows a writer's story to be told in a new way. This means that more people are exposed to the story and can come to appreciate the original. Often, readers find a series of novel or short stories after seeing an adaptation, such as film, television, series, or play. Now we will talk about ecranization. So what is ecranization? Ecranization is a widescreening or transferring process of a novel into a movie. And ecranization can be a process of shifting or transferring or removing characteristic of a novel into a film. So the easy way to understand ecranization is the adaptation from text to film, such as novel to film or short story to film and so on. There are three types of ecranization by Dudley and Drew: borrowing, intersection, and transformation. Borrowing occurs when the filmmakers borrows material, idea, or form from a narrative text. In doing so, it can be said that the text remains in control of the story. When intersection is used to create an adaptation, The original text is preserved in its truest form, as the differences in both media are respected and the story essentially remains unassimilated in adaptation. This often results from a fear of or refusal to adapt, as the filmmaker does not want to alter or damage the integrity of the original. The final method outlined by Andrew is transformation, in which some essential parts of the original is preserved but the piece taken on a new form. The filmmaker will attempt to incorporate the spirit of the text, and it is the film that controls the literary text. The filmmaker must find visual equivalents within his medium for elements that are verbal in the original text. I will now talk about the example of ecranization. To give you more insight about ecranization, I will give you one example. The popular novel and film Harry Potter. From 1997, J.K. Rowling published the first Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. And then on 2001, Steve Kloves created the adaptation from Harry Potter novel into movies with the same title, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stones. I would say that Steve Kloves using intersection types while he made this adaptation because it is not 100% the same from the book that J.K. Rowling wrote. This makes a lot of hatred from the Harry Potter book fans because they said that Steve Kloves was our Hermione's shippers. Why is that? Because Hermione in the movie, rather than being an absolute brat, she was too perfect. The reason why Hermione is quite loved is because she has her flaws, just like everyone else, and many people can make connection to that. Unfortunately, the movie's director was probably simping over Hermione and made her as perfect as you can make her. She was pretty, likable, charming, clever, brave. Basically her book version, but if she didn't have any flaws in her book version. Nobody got to see the growth that Hermione Granger went through. And because she is absolute perfect, very few people could make a connection to her character. This kinda ruins the whole point of Hermione even being in the books. And because Steve Close really pointing about Hermione perfectness, he made Ronald Weasley character being a bad character. Ron Weasley can be a brat sometimes in the books, but at the end of the day he will stand up for his friend, willing to risk his life for them and extremely loyal and brave friends to Harry Potter. But in the movie, Hermione steals a lot of Ron's line that make her seems more perfect and makes Ron seems like more of a brat and less of a friend. He also says a lot more hurtful things to other characters that he never said in the books, but the movie writers just decided to give him for some reason. He also gives really cheap and stupid dialogue that is funny but make him look like an idiot. Here are some examples from the movie scene that being different from the books. I think that's all from me for now about the adaptation and ecranization. Thank you.